Morning. It's August 10th. I made a show yesterday, but we had no power, so I lost it. Hey, listen, we're going to roll right into what's going on now with the BCC today. If y'all aren't sure, Stan Sunday has been canned. He said he resigned, but this sumbitch was canned. Hey, Stan, have you explained F Me Friday to your family yet? Have you explained all that stuff too? Okay. I just wondered about that. But what if I was somebody related to you, I'd sure want to know what you was doing on Fridays. Anyway, so let's get down to what's really happened. The BCC is still not in control of our county whatsoever. And the circus master is still in charge. So let me tell you why Stan is still grinning this morning, even though he's unemployed, because he's getting paid until September of next year, probably about the September 20 something, because he's got 2,150 some hours of leave and stuff. And they've let him resign. Let me tell you what happened. Stan has broke a lot of rules and he should have been fired. But Larry helped protect Stan, and I'm going to explain why. Larry tipped Stan off, and Larry hates Clay. And by last Friday, Larry should have fired Stan, but he hadn't. So potato chip bowl, the snack bowl on his head man here, this worthless, fat, stinking DNA nepotistic attorney that we have, thanks to Scott Brannon, that got him involved in the county. And his daddy Warbucks looks like an ugly old dog, is dead. This sumbitch right here is the reason. He has cost the county more money again, because let me tell you what he did. He wrote Stan a letter, said, if you don't resign, you'll get fired. Well, Clay doesn't have the ability to fire him. And Stan lawyered up. So between Larry tipping him off, and Larry was going to make dang sure that Clay got in trouble too. So, and I'm going to tell you why he tipped Stan off, why Larry did it. So right now, at your expense, the taxpayer, Stan should be fired. Look, Stan's launched 2 or 3 investigations and covered up things. And he's helped a guy committing felonies get an investigation launched for him. Instead of prosecuting that guy and figuring out what that guy was doing, good old Stan, the dirty cop, because Stan is a dirty short cop, that's all he was, he helped him out. So we'll be paying Stan all the way through September of 2022, and then he'll get the additional accrual of everything he earned while he was on terminal, his vacation time, including health and life insurance and everything. Does this sound like how you fire somebody? No, it wasn't meant to be. Because here's what you need to understand. Is Larry Jones and Stan and Matt Carpenter. Let's get a look at old Matt Carpenter, and the sheriff too. The sheriff's helped cover this up. See, there's the largest water quality violations, and this is Don Atkins' property, and that's who Stan helped out. He doesn't have a license, and I've got contracts that Don signed, and he's not a licensed contractor. This is the mess that Don Atkins made. But all this mess ends up going into the bay untreated, and Larry Jones has been involved in covering it up for years. So let me tell you what Larry knows and what Stan knows, okay? Larry used his engineers, Greg Graham and some people like that in this process. Larry's used those engineers to carry out the lie. And Mac and people in code and places like that, they've carried out the lie. But let me read you an actual document. So Greg Graham is telling a lie to the state board, Florida Board of Engineers. Now, Sandestin and Driftwood and several other places, Driftwood is part of Sandestin, but there's thousands of acres of runoff in the bay, and Larry has spent years covering up this pollution. So I took Greg Graham to the Florida Board of Engineers, and you know what they said? They said I was right, that the county engineers are using the wrong standard. But Greg Graham told the Florida Board of Engineers that he had informed the commissioners of his thoughts, which was a lie. Because here's what he did. Right before he answered the Florida Board of Engineers, he wrote a letter to the commissioners. I've got it right here. Let's see if we can get it up there close enough where people can see it. Anyway, looks like it's trying to drown out. There it is. So if you're doing a public records request, if you'll pick this date, February 4th, 2019, and you want the memorandum from Greg Graham to the Board of County Commissioners. And the subject is the Sandestin DRI and Driftwood Estate Stormwater Standard. Well, here's what's funny is Greg told the state that he gave this to the BCC, but you can call Danny Glidewell and others. They've admitted they never gave it to the BCC. So who got this letter? Stan had a copy of it. Larry had it. Sidney Knowles from the Shady Bunch had it. Dee Dee's got a copy, but I've given it since to the commissioners. Now listen to what it says. Greg goes on to tell the commissioners and Larry and everybody else. He says, I would agree. It's clear that retention is used entirely in the context of the DRI. And that he agrees with the analysis that they paid from a PhD for the methodology. But the most important thing is this. In summary, in the May 30th, 2014 letter from the state to the county, recognizes that if the board chooses to rely on regulations and local regulations instead of the adopted standards, an amendment to the DRI development order is needed to reflect that determination. What it means is they've known they've been breaking the law since 2007. Since at least May 30th of 2014, they had no choice. If they wanted to keep breaking the law, they'd have to tell somebody, which they don't want to do, and then try to change the law to what they'd actually been doing instead of what was required. But this is crazy. But they didn't. And instead, there's Larry Jones and Sidney Knowles' name at the bottom. And it says that they'd have to change the law, but they don't. They pay me, so this is in 2014. So in 2016, they know they're caught. So they have to pay me and some of my neighbors a bunch of money. But what do? They go out and break the same laws again that they say they're not going to. It's what they do. And, I just don't know what else to say about it. So in 2016, they pay me and some of my neighbors for some of the damage they've done, and then they turn around and start doing it again. Because Sidney and Larry and them launch an investigation on me that's falsified by them. And they try to get people to take me to court. And then those people have to admit that it was all a setup by these people. False accusations with no proof. What kind of people in government are hunting down citizens because they had to pay them a settlement for telling the truth? This kind of shitbag behind me, the fat bastard known as Larry Jones. Yeah, I don't care what I call him. You haven't suffered like we have. Do you know how many people have suffered the fate of this fool? These people are suffering it. They're not in control of your county. Isn't that crazy? They just can't do it. They don't want to be in charge of it. But look at the rules. And here's how they're breaking it. See, they know the law's being broken. And Florida Statute 380, which covers Sandestin and this huge bay pollution issue, Florida Statute 380.06, paragraph 17 said the local government, meaning these guys right here, issuing the development order is primary responsible for monitoring the development, enforcing the provision of the development order, but they don't want to do it. The way Stan and them do it was to launch false investigations. Stan fired county employees who'd never done anything wrong, and Michael Lynch and Tony Corman were in on this. They launched investigations with your money to fire an employee who told the truth, because it would have opened up Pandora's box. You see, Stan had to keep all code complaints from ever making it to the special master. Otherwise, that would expose Larry's 18, 19-year life for Grand Boulevard and Sandestin and the water that's being run under the road and dumped into the bay. The law said, Larry, local government shall not issue any permits or approvals or provide any extensions of services if the developer fails to act in substantial compliance with the development order. Well, when Sandestin was out of compliance for open space, it was also out of compliance for drainage and traffic, but Larry knew he couldn't admit that. So Larry got the lawyers to write the state and tell them that Grand Boulevard and other places didn't have anything to do with Sandestin, that open space wasn't the issue. Because that way that they could just keep doing what they want, because he was buddies with Keith Howard. That's how this county really works. So Larry made sure that the water and the traffic issue in Sandestin, all you people on Mac Bayou, you want to know why? None of Driftwood counts toward your traffic. 800 homes don't count because Larry and Mac and Renee Bradley and other people have lied. They won't tell the truth. This is the massive cover up, because they're covering up a $500 million developer fraud, because they're getting certificates of occupancy on stuff that's not in compliance with all laws and ordinances. And you're not supposed to do that, commissioners. Hey, you remember you 3 cops? Hey, Boots, are you done reading all them texts to the lawyer? So what's going to go on? So that's the update. So Larry, once again, has protected everybody. And we don't need Dee Dee in there. Dee Dee, you should just quit. God, I can't wait to. You're ridiculous. Dee Dee knew all this, and Larry knew all this. And do you think we should be paying this guy for breaking the law, or do you think he should be investigated? Call your commissioners, tell them you've had it with him. He just cost you a fortune again, over $100,000 probably, because he didn't know what he was doing. And Larry the liar, Larry the leak, he set us all up. This guy right here is running with scissors, and he's going to play his help. The commissioner should fire him today's BCC meeting. If they don't, and they don't launch an investigation, they don't want an investigation. They don't want the truth to come out. They don't want anything to make it where somebody can prove it, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen, commissioners. There's going to be more lawsuits over Larry. There's going to be more lawsuits over drainage if you don't do the right thing for taking care of the people. So that's where we stand today. Stan is gone, but he got to leave by ripping us all off. With the help of Larry and Dee Dee and other people. Stan got to create jobs for his drunk friend, Bobby Martin. Yeah, I don't care if Bobby don't like it. Stick it, Bobby. I don't care. That's where we're at. This was garbage. People lived in fear because of this guy. And this guy was allowed to break rules and create rules and jobs. He needs an investigation. This guy has committed crimes. And F Me Friday won't be at the county expense, but for 1 more year. You can't make this up. Show up in Freeport to take this county back, because these people right here ain't going to take it back. It'll have to be you guys out there now in Osborne land. Y'all keep them straight out there, and tune in soon, because we're going to go in over the sheriff and Corey Godwin's BS real quick. I'm out on Osborne. Y'all keep them straight out there. You hear?